to live at the Wall Garden?
Well, my family have always been here and they farmed this land. And I was off gallivanting and travelling and working abroad and all sorts of things. And then in 2005, Mum and Dad wanted to retire, and so I headed back this way to run the estate with my brother, and needed somewhere to live. So came to the cottage, had a look. The whole place was derelict. Broke our way in through this big metal gate. Broke our way into this house. The pigeons flew out. Hadn't been lived in for 30 years, and got planning permission and started renovating. For me, thought, yeah, this would be a lovely place to live. It had a really unique atmosphere. It was like so peaceful and tranquil, even completely overgrown.
So your parents didn't use it when they farmed?
No, that my parents had bought it from an elderly couple. They'd never had any electric down here, and they wanted to retire. They bought it in the sale when the estate was split up and sold, and they wanted to retire and go and live in Rugby and watch television. So they asked Dad if he wanted to buy it, and I think it was sold for about £8,000. But it wasn't big enough to farm, all the greenhouses were derelicts and everything. So
people want electricity.
Yeah. So and there wasn't enough funds to do it up, to rent it, to live in or anything. So it was just left. It's just left for about 30 years.
So when did Dave come on the scene?
Just after it was...
Just after you became...
renovated.
Yeah, after all the hard work was done.
No, that was the start of the hard work.
Yeah, the cottage was done. You moved in, we got married, had 2 boys, and had no plans for the place, but with 2 baby boys, we thought these 2 were going to be running around in no time.
What a great place to grow up, though.
But it was very dangerous. It was very
We had to
dangerous.
make it safe.
The greenhouses they were being held up by old vines and ivy. They were tumbling down. The archways through to the garden, they had wooden lintels that were rotting.
So did you have a plan? Did you draw up a plan of...
No, we just
what
thought
it was gonna be like?
let's make it safe. So we had that boiler removed, didn't we?
Yeah, it was the crime scene of the men taking things out in white suits, weren't they?
It was blue asbestos, the most dangerous asbestos you can get.
From the house?
That was
Right
in the
next
sheds.
to the house. Yeah, in the sheds.
It was
Yeah.
the boiler that they used to heat the greenhouse.
Okay, so they could grow the tropical
Yeah.
fruits and things.
Yeah, and then all the dipping ponds, they collected the rainwater from everywhere in open ponds and dipping wells and stuff, and they were covered in algae, so you could hardly see them. 2 or 3 of the dogs fell in, didn't they, the ponds? So we didn't pull them all up, we emptied them and filled them in so they could be opened again, but we made them safe. That's what we spent 10 years making it safe, didn't we? Really, the ivy on the walls was unbelievable. Covered every single wall, and it was like trees, wasn't it?
And what did you do with all the waste? Because that's the big thing when you're clearing a garden. What do you do with the brambles, or what do you do with the...
With a bonfire.
Burn.
Bonfire for 10 years.
And you don't get that growing now, do you? Like the brambles and things, do you?
The brambles don't grow in the middle, but the ivy still grows up the walls on the outside.
The gardens go around about once a year and strip all the ivy back. But I mean, the ivy we took off was this thick, and we went up scaffold and got the spades down the back of it and peeled it off the walls. They go around now and they can just pull it out by the roots, as long as they do it every year. But this was 30 years worth of growth. You couldn't see the walls. You didn't know you were in a walled garden in some areas, did you?
So when was it safe? When did you feel like you'd achieved?
But it took about 10 years, didn't it?
Because you were working, you weren't.
Yeah.
This wasn't the project.
No. We were just trying to make it safe. The builder used to come, every time I had some spare cash, he used to come and rebuild a section of the wall. That took 10 years to do as well, to build the walls
To go right round both walls.
Yeah.
So when did you first start opening the gates to the public?
The first time was at a charity event we had, wasn't we?
Yeah.
We had garden games and various things.
Raffles,
Raffle
games,
cakes
like a
or,
big village fete, wasn't it?
For Baumber Village?
Yeah, I think we raised, so many people wanted to come and look, 'cause it'd been closed up for so long and it's such a big part of local history. And we raised £4,000 and half went to the church and half went to the village hall because both needed restoring. And then we went back to just us living here after that, didn't we? And then that was when we thought, what are we going to do with the place? And I'd always wanted one of these big natural swimming ponds. When we looked into it, it was far beyond our reach financially. So we dug it ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah, we got a man in with a digger.
Expensive piece of
Bought a bit of plastic.
pond liner.
And do you swim in it now?
No. It's a wildlife pond now. It wasn't, because of the wildlife in there, we've got a lot of water snails and they'll cause a reaction called a swimmer's itch. So it's not, and we can't swim in it open to the public, and it's not something you can let people swim in because of all the health and safety stuff. So no, it's a wildlife pond now to enjoy the dragonflies and the nature and just a lovely, nice piece of landscaping, really.
So that's like one of the first things you did?
Yeah, the pond was the first thing, yeah.
So did you open to the public so they could come and see that? Why did you decide to open?
Asking, didn't
Yeah,
they?
people wanted to know what we'd done since we had that
Can we have a
charity
look?
day.
Yeah. So we just thought, well, I had a friend who had come to teach me a bit about gardening, and she came to work 2 short days a week, and she was teaching me about perennials and borders and this, that and the other. She used to come on a Tuesday, we'd garden all day, and the Friday afternoon. So on the Friday afternoon we said, well, why don't we open to the public again, put a sign on the A158 and see if anyone wants to come. And that first week...
I stupidly said I'd put the kettle on if somebody turned up, but I'd take the computer across there and do my real work.
And Mum said she'd make a cake, didn't she? And we opened the gates, people saw the sign, and you know, half a dozen or so people came along and they bought the cake, they bought a few, I had some plants for sale on the table, they bought those. And they came back the next week, brought more people, and that was in May, by the September, you'd taught yourself how to bake, hadn't you?
Grandma couldn't keep up with the cakes.
We'd bought a water
kettle.
boiler.
Did you have a cafe or something then, or?
No,
It
we
was a
just,
room we'd renovated in
yeah,
there
it was
that was...
a shed we'd renovated.
And the potting shed, what was the potting
shed?
shed?
It was what the one we use now as the tea rooms. We had a table in there, and the water boiler, and the 4 cakes on the table, and your dad collecting pots, and my dad washing up, and you 2 serving, and it just got busier and busier. And then we thought, there's something in this, there's something, you know, and we were enjoying it.
And there wasn't anything for people to look at?
No,
See
not
what
really.
it's
No.
Not really. It was just a nice piece of cake and the atmosphere and the peace and quiet and sitting and enjoying it, enjoying the ambience here. It's still got that now, even though it's garden now, it's still got that lovely, relaxing quality to it. People still comment on it now. new customers on how peaceful it is here. So and it gradually grew so that we needed help, and we employed people, and we used to close every winter and have a break and do our other work. And then it got that we couldn't employ people just for that season. They needed work all year round, so we made the jump to opening full time.
When was that? How long ago was that?
This is the third winter we're going into now. We've only had 3 winters
The
open.
full time.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was all kind of a gradual progression. You said it was you kind of opened by accident. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
started
Yeah,
by
it was never
accident.
It was
planned.
never an idea
Never
to.
planned.
Did you ever imagine you'd be...
Employed 41 people.
Yeah.
High season. No, and have a fully built wedding venue with a glass house. We're hoping to build some shops next. We've got a huge plant market now, and we've got rare plants and all sorts. And now we're moving. The next stage is to grow our own plants, which is the project we're going to talk about in a week or two, where we moved to, because we moved out. We moved out 3.5 years ago, and renovated another property because we were open so often we had no work-life balance anymore. The kids couldn't kick a rugby ball about or a cricket ball, so we moved into another derelict building.
There's a
on
theme.
a derelict.
Probably worse than this one.
Oh, it was a lot worse than this one, wasn't it? Yeah, we couldn't live in it while we were doing it. It was nearly 2 years because of COVID, and we had builders do it rather than me project manage it. Then we moved in. We haven't finished yet, really, but it's a lovely another lovely peaceful place. But that's got 4 acres of land with it, and that is what we're clearing now. We've just started clearing that now, so we're filming that as well, and that will be where we're going to grow the plants for here, and possibly some other fruit and stuff for here as well. So the fruit and veg garden here is the tourist attraction, and that will be the working farm down there. So,
do you know how many visitors you get a year?
No, it's very hard to know because we don't charge an admission fee. So everybody will buy a bit of something from the shop, or a plant, or a cup of tea. And if they don't, it doesn't matter because they'll come back and buy something next time. So no, we've got no records of admission tickets or anything because they just come in. The only way we know how busy we are because when a car comes through the gates, we get a beeping sound now.
So you could count your beeps.
You could count
You
your
could do
beeps.
if you really wanted to.
But it also works with people on foot. So if the gardeners are going in and out,
And deer.
and the deer, so it's not an accurate record, but yeah, the beeping is. There we go. I don't even notice it now. I don't even notice it now. But I know we've run out of parking on some busy days in the summer.
For
on a Sunday.
when you've got an event on.
Yeah. But no, I would say we get several hundred in the summer. On a busy day in the summer, there'll be several hundred people through. And on a winter's day, there's probably been 30 or 40 through today on a very quiet day. But we need that now. We need more people now to pay the wages over the winter, you see. So we have created a monster, haven't we? But it's a nice monster.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. It's a nice monster, but it comes with
There's a lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility.
As well, because you have all those staff
Yeah.
relying on you.
But we are lucky. We've got a nice team of people that work here that get on well. We have a lot of fun, and it's a pleasure to come to work every morning. It really is, isn't it? Yeah.
No.
Trying to turn.
So what are the plans for the garden itself here? Are you going to change things or
Yeah, we would like
keep it as it is?
We'd like to have a proper tarmac road all the way in, rather than just the main track through the woods. It'd be lovely to have a proper tarmac road, and that's on the
That's on the cards.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's
In
going to cost a
time.
lot of money. And we'd like to make the shops so that they're some indoor space as well as the huts, because we would like to
We've got
develop.
planning permission for the
Yeah.
shops, so that would
Because they're little shepherd's huts at the moment, aren't
and
they?
open.
And everything's a bit damp in the
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah. because we've got a lovely range of cards, and we'd like to do our own range of cards and like jigsaws and giftware and stuff as well that's relevant to the walled garden. So personal to us, not the big. We're not going down the garden centre route. We're not going down the jumpers from so and so and jars of sweets, but the relevant to the walled garden.
Because you sell seeds, don't you, that are collected from the plants?
Seeds that are harvested here, yeah. And you know, I used to do all the gardening with the help of one person, then a couple of people, and now I very rarely get to do any gardening, but I do get to do the garden design courses and stuff. But we've got a team of gardeners now that do that are absolutely fantastic. Most of my time is spent steering the ship. You're often in the engine room, aren't you?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Can you just
Put a bit more coal in the furnace.
log on the fire?
Yeah.